my fellow human beings, and welcome to episode 71 of The Best Blessed Life. I'm your best host, Kristen, and today's topic is serially good cookies. Serially good cookies. I knew I was going to mess it up. Before we get started, I want to thank you all for watching. Please continue to watch, comment, share, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and please pass them on to anyone you think that they could help. With that being said, let's go over our things to do today. So we're going to go over the positive words from the week, of course. We're going to make breakfast cookies serially. At least I pronounced it right that time. Okay. And then we're going to talk about sitting silently, aka alone time challenge. And I'll get back to you with that in a few minutes. Let's do our positive words from last week. So we're starting with the 17th, which was my sister-in-law's Paula's birthday. So happy birthday. And bear with me because these are more words I can't pronounce. So the 17th was Novatureant, desiring to seek a powerful change in your life, behavior, or a certain situation. Soul searching. Saturday the 18th was Moxie, courage, nerve, or determination, perseverance, pepper, energy. Sunday the 19th was Growlery, a place of refuge or sanctuary for use while one is out of sorts or in ill humor, a retreat. 20th was Kalon, beauty that is more than skin deep, the ideal of physical and moral beauty, the ideal good. Tuesday the 21st was Quiescent. Resting in a tranquil manner, someone who is still and at ease, latent. Wednesday the 22nd was Oriflame, a symbol that inspires confidence, devotion, or courage, an inspiring standard. And today is Halcyon, a period of time in the past that was happy and peaceful, calm and blissful. Fun stuff, right? All right. I can't believe we're moving through June so quickly. And the end of year 2 is coming quickly. We got like 2 months. So the end of August, we'll be finishing up year 2. So that's why I'm kind of hitting these challenges a little bit hard in the next coming episodes, I feel like. I really want to see if people are participating. Please let me know in the comment section if you're trying any of these challenges and how it's going. All right. So I have 2 little projects I got going here again, because you know I can't just do one thing. So first we're going to make cinnamon breakfast bites, and they look like little cinnamon donut holes that we're actually making with cereal. Okay. So now remember, I'm making this recipe with you for the very first time. I've never done any of it, so I don't know how it's going to go. The review from last week on the cornbread bake, Sloppy Joe cornbread bake, was that the beans need to be mixed with the turkey mixture, not in the cornbread because it just dried it out more. And I agreed 100%. That was probably the only thing I didn't like about it. Okay, so there's cinnamon breakfast bites. I love how I put the CI all the way over here, and then there's this huge, there's my perfectionism on full display. Okay, so you know that for every asterisk there's a replacement ingredient, right? Because we're trying to make, this is already a healthy recipe according to the, and I keep forgetting to write down who puts these. But any of these that I give you are the actual recipe names, and you can look them up on Pinterest. Okay, so we're using we're not using, but this is what the recipe calls for. 1 1/3 cup all-purpose flour, 1 cup of Rice Krispies, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of butter flavored shortening, 1/2 cup of milk, 1 1/2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2/3 cup sugar, and 1/3 cup butter melted. That's supposed to say melted. So we have asterisks next to the flour, the Rice Krispies, the 2 tablespoons of sugar, the butter flavored shortening, and I think just the regular butter. So in a bowl, we're supposed to combine flour, cereal, I think it says. No, crushed cereal, 2 tablespoons of the sugar, the first part of the sugar where it said 2 tablespoons, and I'm asked by baking powder and salt. And then you cut in the shortening until the mixture resembles like a coarse crumbs. Stir in milk until moistened. Milk is dry. Mix is dry looking, but if too dry, so it is supposed to look a little dry, but if it's too dry, kind of almost like a scone, I'm imagining, add 1 teaspoon more milk. And then you're supposed to shape it into 1-inch balls. And in a small bowl, we're combining the cinnamon, the sugar, of course. And you're using the melted butter to dip the ball in, and then roll it in the cinnamon sugar. Because again, it's a more drier mixture. Okay. So what I did was I combined most of my dry ingredients, and one of these I should have wiped this off real quick, but you know me, I like to wait till the last minute. So this is my 1/3 of a cup. Obviously, you know I'm replacing the regular flour with coconut flour. Instead of Rice Krispies, I'm using a Honey Nut O's cereal that I gotta crush yet. For the butter flavored shortening, I'm also using coconut oil. And for the 2 tablespoons of sugar, I'm using maple syrup because, hello, it's breakfast. Why not? So I'm going to stick this in and start melting it. And then we're preheating to 425, just so you know. And then my second project here is I keep reading about how you can dehydrate strawberries and they taste like candy. So once I'm done with this temperature, I'm going to lower the temperature to about 200, put my strawberries in and let them kind of dehydrate in the oven for about 3 hours. And then we'll have nice little strawberry candy snacks. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to hit my... We're going to take out our frustrations on our here oat cereal. They want it crushed. They're going to get crushed. So if you have any people you need to envision while doing this, you know, feel free. I'm hitting it so hard to knock the sign down. So I was going to buy Rice Krispies and just forgot. So I'm hoping we can use pretty much any cereal. And since this has a honey flavor to it, but it doesn't come off as super duper sweet, I thought this was a good replacement. We might not need as much of the maple syrup for the sugary portion of it, but we might need it for the liquid portion. Because corn flour. Coconut flour in and of itself absorbs more liquid quickly? Just more liquid in general. How's that? So, they say when you're using coconut flour to add an extra egg, but there is no eggs in this recipe. So, that's where the added thought of using maple syrup came in as opposed to just regular granulated. I am using regular granulated for the cinnamon sugar coating because I hate to say it, I have not really found a replacement for that. And I've tried a few of the other, like, you know, decent sweeteners out there. They just don't hit right. So if you're replacing all the other bad things in it, a little bit of sugar. And it really is going to be just this little bit of sugar because it's a dusting on the outside of the All right, that's good enough. I'm sure you don't want to sit here and listen to me crush up. Okay, and then in this bowl here is my, okay, so before I forget, in order to replace all-purpose flour, you actually have to reduce the amount of coconut flour because it absorbs so much. So for 1 1/3 quarter of regular flour, I'm actually using, I have to think now. Okay, so for every 1 cup of flour, regular flour, you replace it with a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. So that first cup I already replaced with a 1/4, and then the 1/3 of a cup ends up being like 1 1/2 teaspoons. So that's about what's in here is a 1/4 cup plus the 1 1/2 teaspoons. A little less than 1 1/2. It's supposed to be 1 1/3. So, okay, and then this is also the baking powder and the salt, but not the sugar because the sugar is liquid. So I didn't want to mix it with the rest of this stuff because it's really supposed to be, you know, the dry ingredients first. Apparently my containers were a little damp on the bottom. I used them. Plus I think the coconut will add a nice little toasty flavor because yum. Okay. So I'm going to just get this all combined together. And I think I wanted to leave the O's a little bit more whole because if you think about regular all-purpose flour, you actually get like a thicker consistency. When I talk about coconut flour, I really feel like it's more like a powder. So I'm trying to get this all like coordinated together so that when we crush in the butter flavored shortening, which our replacement is, and that replacement is 1-to-1. So we are replacing the 1/4 cup of butter flavored shortening with a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. All right, I think that's good enough. All right, now we're gonna put that 1/4 cup. It got a little soft, but that's okay. We're just looking for our rough crumble, as they called it, which, I mean, if you're comparing between the O-like cereal to the flour, coconut flour, we're gonna have a nice, good, potent coconut presence here in these cookies. They look, I don't know what, I keep calling them cookies. They call them bites. And they really look more like donuts, to be honest. So, call them what you want. Breakfast to go. Alright. I think I probably let my butter get a little soft. But, I don't know. I'm not too upset about it. I think I got enough, and I can spread it around pretty easily. Let me just see if our butter is completely melted, the one that we had to melt. And that's just to barely, and I'm even trying to think of other ways to do it so I don't even have to use the coconut oil for the dipping. It'd be nicer if we use some sort of like apple juice, but then I again don't want to add the apple flavor, so do with that what you will. This is supposed to make 2 dozen balls. Ooh, that's the other thing I'm going to do. Instead of like forming them by hand. I mean, I'm going to roll them by hand, but instead of forming them with, I'm going to use my mini scooper. These, I love these things. The greatest thing ever invented, I think. You know I'm exaggerating. Anyways, what was I looking for? Checking to see if my butter's melted. See, sometimes you gotta just say your shit out loud. Alright, good and melted because it was pretty soft when I put it in there. Okay. Alright, so we're getting this all good and crummy. I think we're crumbed up. It does very much take on a, what's the word I'm looking for? Pie crust. kind of texture, or even a scone like I was saying earlier, because when it's all said and done, it is supposed to be kind of a dry mixture. I'm gonna do the milk first before I add the, I'm trying to decide, because I know the maple syrup is supposed to be in here with this stuff, you know, so it's like, what do I choose? Does it make sense to add now? Or does it make sense to make sure I have enough milk in here? Maybe we can alternate. That's the best I can say. All right, so this is our ½ cup of milk. And I'm gonna just pour it ever so gingerly because I don't know if I'm gonna need it all, especially if it's supposed to be more of a dry mixture. And I'm just gonna keep on kind of mushing up our, I think at some point we're supposed to stir it, but does it say? No, it says cutting or stirring milk until moist. Shape into balls. It does not really say how you're supposed to progress with the milk. So I'm just gonna keep using my pastry cutter. As soon as I get to a place where I can just chitty chat with you, I'll go over what I mean by the challenge. And I keep trying to do it for myself. Okay. Oh my gosh. You know what is happening here? It smells like cereal with milk. I mean, how can you not love that? Right? It's supposed to be a little dry. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not over wetting because I still have to put in the, I'm wondering if I even need this maple syrup because it's going to have cinnamon sugar on the outside and I used something with a bit of sugar in it. I don't know. Here, let's try this little bit that's on here. It definitely needs some sugar because if you think about the coconut oil is not does not aid in the flavoring so much of whatever you're baking. It doesn't have the saltiness that butter does, so it just lends itself to a lot of different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a little bit. I think I'm going to switch my implement too. I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but I don't know. I don't think I want to get this all sticky. Let's see what I got to stir this with. No, that's too, yeah, maybe just something that's going to get it off the sides and work in without getting it too flattened out. All right, here's going to be your judgment call because frankly, I'm somebody that eats Honey Nut O's without any sugar on top. So, I don't know. Let's see, let's try a little bite. It's definitely got the salt factor. I think it needs the sugar just for that part. Hold on. Keep in mind too that we are putting cinnamon sugar on the outside, so we don't want to get too carried away. And for some reason, she recommended putting them in a 8 by 8 inch baking dish. So mine's a little bigger than that. I'm not sure why we're putting them on a dish as opposed to like a cookie sheet. I'm not really sure. I don't know what the theory behind that is. So, I don't think they spread, so I'm not really sure. Okay, I'm not sure we need all this milk either, because we're pretty sticky right now. Okay, then anything that's left over now is for our topping after we're done baking. Or actually we do this before we bake them, so. I really am just not fully sure I need this milk. Okay. I don't know if it's supposed to stick to that dry, but if too dry. I mean, we're still crumbly, but I think we pack together nicely. Okay, the one thing I would say, because I'm getting a lot of salt, I probably didn't need the salt, or as much as the salt as that was listed on there. What was it? Half a teaspoon. Unless I added more. Anything's possible. I just want to make sure it's pretty well mixed. Alright, I'm honestly going to say we need a little bit more of the maple syrup too. So real quick, I'm just going to add like, I could have been a little off on my measurements for the maple syrup too. Grab all this. I'm going to throw that in there. I keep forgetting that about coconut oil, is that it's very, it's like an avocado. It almost picks up a lot of what you're using in your, you know what, I could have messed up because I might have measured, because I was using a teaspoon to measure a lot of things because my tablespoon was running in the dishwasher. But at some point I was using half teaspoons, so I might have measured with half instead of whole. Again, if we can reduce the amount of anything in here, I'm more than happy. Alright, one more little dribble. That's must have been what happened. Oh! You didn't see that. Here I was trying to add less. I mean, I don't know how people feel about maple syrup compared to sugar and what you replace it with. I consider maple syrup a little less processed. I mean, I could be out of my mind on that front. I think so many things about the way food is processed lately. All right, let me wash my hands. Okay, so I have paper towel over there. All right. So the nice thing about my strawberries is they've kind of been sitting here, kind of getting dried out, just waiting for the oven to be reduced. So, all right, I think at this point too, I can mix together my, do I have a fork? No. Mix together my cinnamon sugar. You know how much I love my cinnamon sugar. I think what I might do even is stick it in my shaker and shake it as opposed to dropping the donut or the bite. I'm not quite sure if the ratio that they gave me is adequate as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm a cinnamon girl, you know this about me. And I'm not quite sure. I don't, oh, and I still got stuff on the side here and on the bottom. Oh no. Oh, but there is more cinnamon too. Okay, well that's good to know. That's what's nice about putting it in a shaker though. Still not smelling a lot of cinnamon. At least we're a little more mixed together. And I think I'm going to add just a scotch. The cinnamon that I got is very interesting in that it's seems more powder-esque than cinnamon I've gotten in the past, and it's really dark. I've never seen cinnamon this dark before. And then did I put, I'm such a nut. I put my fork when I knew I was going to need it. All right. All right, I think what I am going to do is, I got to think about how I'm going to process this. Let me get a plate. Because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the ball and I'm going to dip it in the cinnamon sugar and see if anything sticks to it without the melted butter. Because that's really the route I want to go. And then I think what I'm going to do... Did y'all see my little handy dandy tutorial? Just save your Parmesan cheese lids. They work great as lids for your mason jars. Drink out of them without spilling. Yeah, I think the ratio of cinnamon to sugar on this one's a little rough. I would definitely use more. That's just me. If you're a cinnamon gal like me, add more. Because the ratio was 1.5 teaspoons to 2/3 of a cup of, and that just seems like not enough. Shake it up. Get it shooken with my pre-existing. And every time I make it the way that it says in the recipe, so I have everybody's, oh, it's flying out the top. I have everybody's recipe of cinnamon sugar in this little mason jar. Okay, so I'm gonna try and work it so that it's not, okay, so there's our dough. Okay, I imagine it would be a little less crumbly if you had used Rice Krispie cereal or crisp rice, however you want to put it. Okay, so ball form. They say about 1 inch. I'm gonna scoop it like that. I'm gonna squeeze it. It might be a little too damp. It smells really good. I think, and don't quote me on this, but we might have enough mixed, whatchamadoodles, wetness, that I don't need to use the damn melted butter. Okay, so we're gonna just plop it in there like that. All right, that's what they're gonna look like. So I'm gonna start talking to you about my challenge. That way, oh, my handle got stuck. That way we can kill 2 birds, 1 stone type of deal, like we did. Okay, so yeah, it is pretty loaded with moisture here. So I think between rolling them with the cinnamon sugar that falls off the other ones and shaking it on there, we could get a good coating without using the added butter. Let's see what happens. Okay, my challenge to you is that you try to sit in a room and just sit. What I mean by that, gosh, these are so wet, is no phone, no music. Yeah, no music. No television, no books, no, you're not going to do anything. That's the challenge. Now the challenge is whether or not you can handle sitting there as you learn to deal with the silence for longer and longer periods of time. Ooh, that one's nice wet. Okay. So I find that when I'm in a quiet room, and frankly, when I say quiet, I don't want any outside interruptions. Okay? I want, ooh, that came out a little fast. I want you to be able to just sit and listen to yourself. Like full on, just listen to yourself. It's amazing what you'll say out loud when you're not listening to anything else. Or it's amazing what you'll say out loud when you actually realize that you're talking to yourself. I know that sounds weird, but a lot of times I don't even realize I'm talking to myself until like my kids get home. And then I'm like talking and they'll go, what? Be like, oh, sorry. Was I talking out loud? But who has the best answers for your situation? Nobody knows you like you do. Even then, I don't even know if we know each other that well. I mean, by me knowing myself. I mean, it's a scary concept to be quiet. But I'm finding as I get older and older, I like I like background noise, don't get me wrong. But I also just like hearing myself talk out loud, because a lot of times I don't sit there and talk a lot, you know? So that's why I say the walks are great, but I think if you're having a hard time just dealing with trying to figure out what alone time is, or if you can handle it, or what it is you're going to get out of it, it takes a moment of preparation, you know? And frankly, it's a little scary because you really want you to face as much as you possibly can, you know? This is basically a milk with cereal. Cereal with milk. Wow. Type of dealio. That's what it smells like too. And when you're in this room, wherever it may be, and if you can find a quieter room, the better. You know, the more you can sit away from any kind of distraction, any kind of, phone or people stopping by. I don't know if you're busy that way. Obviously, you're not going to do it at work or anything like that, but, oh no, it's falling apart. Stay. Sometimes you have to talk to your food, too. But it is a moment of clarity that you can justify or say to yourself, you know what, I was really wrong about that, you know, or I am spot on. The more I talk to myself or try to talk myself out of being angry, the more angry I get. That says to me so many things, you know. And sometimes outside noise is not really going to make you feel like you're understanding it from your perspective, and that's really more important than anything. Like, you have to explain to someone all the time why you feel the way you do. It's more important that you understand why you feel the way you do. My handle keeps getting stuck. Might be time for a new guy. Does that make any sense? Alone time should not be intimidating if you're spending time by yourself, you know? It's those confrontations, and those times while you're by yourself is the time you need to say to yourself, hey, you know what, I really need to talk to such and such, or, you know, I need to be more open, or I need to figure out why I feel the way I do when this happens, or, you know, there's so many things you can, like we talked about last week, I said evaluate yourself, see if you're moving correctly. That's all part of sitting alone and realizing, hey, you know, I tend to lean towards the right butt cheek. I do. I don't know why. That's me. I'm just talking out loud. I don't know what it is, but I find myself going like this a lot. I don't know if my left butt cheek is fatter, but, you know. So, think about what it is that you are working through and talk about it. Talk about it out loud. Make sure you're understanding your part of the situation and why you feel the way you do about certain things. It'll be just a mind opener. It leads to the door of kind of meditation. I love how I'm cutting my head off right now. Meditation and just, you know, clearing the mind completely. You know, but it's first you've got to be okay with sitting in a room with your serially good balls falling apart. Okay. These look really good, guys. I'm really impressed with how easy they were to come together. You know, it wasn't a lot of like, I mean, there's some guessing going on still. You know me. I have to question. I'm not really going to change too much midair here like I have the last couple weeks. But, oh my goodness. That keeps getting away from me. But I like the fact that we moistened them enough dough-wise that we don't need to add the extra butter. Even coconut oil, I'm okay with, but I wasn't really going to get any flavor from the coconut oil. It was just for dipping in the cinnamon sugar, and I feel like we've accomplished that. And it's melting into the dough a little better. So I would say if you feel more comfortable adding like a little bit more milk or a liquid sweetener, you can actually avoid like a good portion of the, and this is the bigger portion of butter. It's a third of a cup. So granted, not a third of a cup was going in every cookie, but hey, you know what? We try as much as we can here to use things that aren't as bad for us. That's our goal. Not as bad. We're not trying to be bad. But some things cannot be replaced, like cinnamon sugar. Can't be replaced. Now this actual recipe, other than like adding flour, because when you're using Oreo cookies, I mean, you're not going to add anything to take away from the Oreo cookie. It's very similar to how you make the Oreo. Some people call them bonbons, some people call them balls, some people call them truffles. So maybe we should call them cereal truffles, because that'll make them sound more decadent. How would you like your cereal truffle? And frankly, you could use any cereal. You could use cinnamon sugar cereal. That's like everybody's favorite. So that you wouldn't have to add sugar at all. If you're trying to be obviously more aware of your sugar content, I would say maybe it's better to add a sugar cereal and then you don't have to add any extra. Just a thought. But then you don't know what sugar they're adding, so you know how that goes, guys. We like to control our own stuff as much as possible. All right, I think, oh no, am I going to be short one? Oh my goodness, I think I'm going to be short one. One whole ball, how does that happen? Very upset. I definitely don't have enough for two more. Boo! This one's really falling apart. Boo! Come on, guys, work with me here. Okay, stay. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Oh my goodness. Maybe we'll have two smaller ones. Is that cheating? We have two. It's probably cheating, huh? My scooper is completely covered in cinnamon sugar. You know what? I'm not even going to try it. Sorry, guys. It's not even going to be worth it. That other one wasn't even going to be half the size. Okay, and then we're just going to... Oh, my cinnamon sugar shaker's got stuff. Well, you're supposed to get 24. For some reason, I got 23. I think my balls might be 1.5 inches. That's the only thing I can think of. All right. Oh my goodness. This I know of cinnamon sugar. All right. So now, as I get all my things in the sink to be rinsed out, we are going to cook these, bake them at 425 for 15 to 17 minutes. It says it makes 2 dozen. I'm so upset. Grr. I can't believe it. Okay, so we're going in, guys. Here's our little cinnamon sugar balls made with cereal. They're going to be a fun little treat. All right, 15 minutes. we're gonna candy up our strawberries here. Let me wipe this off real quick. Give it a rinse. I'm getting better with the water, guys. Sorry about last week. I was just having, my brain was not having my thought processes last week. Okay, so please feel free to take the challenge. Let me know how it goes. I'm really interested to hear, like, about it is easy or hard, what you think you're getting out of it, how it's helping you or not helping you. Maybe you're figuring out, I need to talk to somebody a little bit more on the professional scale. So these are all things that you can figure out in your quiet time. I mean, it's not really alone time as much as it is just I mean, I want you to make some noise with yourself as far as like how you're going to talk to yourself. Like, saying it out loud is way more affirming than to keep it in your head and just talk about it that way. Does that make any sense at all? Take time to appreciate what you're doing for yourself. Like, say, hey, I'm really doing great with this, but I really need to step up taking better care of, my health or my home or my family, whatever it may be. Those are times to take a full inventory of how you are dealing with things outside that are playing a part within you. Does that make sense? Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break while these are cooking up. I'm really excited to try one. And then once those are done, we're going to lower our oven temperature and we're going to plop in our strawberries. And I am going to show you the finished product on Instagram and Facebook. If you follow me on Instagram, it's The Best Blessed Life. It's not, it's The Best Blessed. Follow me at The Best Blessed Life. And on Facebook, I'm Kristen Haas, KristinHass. And, of course, YouTube, The Best Blessed Life. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm trying to make your life seem a little better without having to do all the bad things to make your life better. And we can do some bad, bad in moderation. And I don't even mean bad. I'm talking having some sugar every once in a while, or, going out to eat and splurging on dessert or whatever. It's all part of the best blessed life. That's all I gotta say about that. So, guess what? I'll be back in about 10 minutes. See you real soon. Okay, I'm back. Of course, I didn't think about them actually drying out within the oven and then falling apart. So, we got that going for us. I got one that broke apart. The other ones are staying together, but they are looking a little bit drier. So maybe, I don't know. I'm almost thinking they should be kind of glazed first or after. So that might be something I would consider for future times I make these. If they're good, I hope they're good. Fingers crossed. Anyway, we still got a minute or so. But I also wanted to talk to you real quick because I told you I substituted 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. That was an actual straight off substitution. So it was 2 tablespoons of regular sugar for 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And also the butter and butter flavored shortening was also 1-to-1. So there you go. We got that going for us. The nice thing is, once we get these strawberries dehydrated, you could probably eat the two things together, and it'll be like you're having a bowl of cereal with strawberries. So, woohoo! Alright, let's figure out what we got left. So give that challenge some real thought. Really sit down. Yeah, I know, I'm asking you to think a lot. Sorry. But it is a moment of clarity for yourself. It justifies a lot of things in your mind. It might either make you feel better or worse, and maybe it'll make you fix it. So, there you go. Alright. I think they're pretty much done. This is our end product here. I'm going to set it on there because it's pretty hot. And then we're going to reduce. Ooh, that oven mitt got hot. Okay. My oven is weird. I actually have to turn it off and start over. Come on, go down. We're going down to 210. I don't know why 210. I don't know if there's some magical. And I didn't read anything about them having their strawberries on something other than just the cookie sheet, but I figured, you know, the parchment paper, they would come off of pretty decently, and it would add to getting out the extra moisture. So they're going in, guys. I hope this 420. Maybe I should wait a few minutes. All right. Well, I'm gonna put them in after I try this broken. This one is like calling out to me. So let's see how delicate they are. Pretty delicate. Very delicate. Okay. We have a few issues. The first one is, it's still pretty salty. So I'm wondering if I, again, used the wrong. And they're very scone-like. So I would almost take them at this point and make like, and I might just do it. Oh, they're so hot. That bite was way better. So hot. Still a little too salty. I would say if you're using coconut flour and coconut oil, especially, although they're talking about using regular butter, it doesn't say anything about using unsalted. I would say half teaspoon of salt is way too much. Okay? And then I think what I'm going to try and do real quick is just make, I don't know what the ratios are. What I think I'm going to do, and I'm going to let them cool first. Let me put them on. I think it's okay to put my strawberries in them. Alright. So, 3 hours. Those are going to be done at, one second. I'm going to set it for an hour at a time, just so I remind myself that they're still in here. So basically what you need for glaze is just powdered sugar and milk. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm trying to set myself up here so I'm not cleaning up a huge mess. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a glaze. Actually, let me put this on top of the wire rack for a few minutes. And we'll let that whole thing cool down in there. Okay, and then let's do, I don't know what the, like I said, I don't know what the ratios are, but 3 tablespoons, and then I think we only need like just enough to make it wet. I think it's the theory. And feel free to use any substitution for milk, oat milk, almond. Don't ask me why I put it right there, but I just want enough. There we go. Alright, I just want enough to make it a little bit more drizzly. I might need to make more, but we'll see. I feel like I'm making that cornstarch and water slurry thing. It's both a liquid, a solid, and at the same time or something. Yak. Is that the name of it? Did I remember? That's crazy. Alright. Too runny now. Might be a little too runny now, of course. Of course I got my spoon from in there. Let's add a little bit. I don't know what kind of texture I'm looking for here. I just think it needs something to counterbalance. See, you gotta think on the fly again. I did end up having to do that, gosh darn it. Wow. Just remember this, guys, and everything can be saved. Well, I don't know about everything, but a lot of things can be saved. I don't know why I feel that way, but you know that old adage, everything happens for a reason? Okay. What I'm gonna try and do is take these off and put them on here. Please don't break apart. Actually, now that they're hardening, they're not quite so fragile. I don't know. I almost wish I would have kind of flipped them halfway through. Because I got a nice dark brown spot on the bottom. And I think it would be nice if that was like that all the way around, you know? Had a little bit of toastiness. I'm trying to just set it up here so that when I pour, I'm just going to pour it on and just keep going from one to the next, you know? They remind me of Snickerdoodle cookies almost a little bit. Okay, perfect. Now this pan's a little hot, so I'm gonna accidentally touch it like we did last week. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is just go like this and drizzle. I think every donut needs a drizzle, don't you? Yeah, maybe we're not getting a full scoop or dunked in there. You know, we're giving it a little class. Not that she didn't have class before, but we took away some oil to add some powdered sugar and milk, but not a lot. Like, I'm not dunking the whole thing in. I'm not trying to make it, like, cover up the cereal or, you know. I want it to still have all those other flavors in there. I just think it needs something to take away that saltiness. And actually, you know, even if you added a bit of citrus to this recipe, like some lemon zest, orange might be nice. Ooh, that was a good drizzle. Okay. So, again, on the fly, we're changing things up. We're trying to make them better. Yeah, so I messed up. I usually do. I usually do something to make it fall a little flat, a little short, like last week. Man, if I had just gone with my gut on that first and done the, I think I have to make like a smidge more for this last one. No. Yep, it's not even gonna come out. Poop. And I don't want to dip it. I'm just gonna make a smidge more, and then I can go back over. Wish I would have listened to my gut, because my gut originally told me. My gut said, put the beans in with the turkey. I think the tomato and the chilies would have been better. Because if you think about it, it called for corn, which has a little bit of moisture to it, where beans don't. Kind of sucked the moisture out of the cornbread part. It was very stiff. The good thing was the flavor of the cornbread. Let's see how we doing here. The flavor of the cornbread itself was quite tasty. I was actually surprised that the green chili didn't come through a little bit. It just was I couldn't find it, to be honest. And I was a little disappointed by that, because I thought it was going to bring some heat to the situation. Now, I had Peyton try it for lunch one day with sour cream, because it had a Southwest vibe to it. So I almost feel like it could have easily taken on a more taco flavored sloppy joe, which I also have a recipe for, by the way. I don't know, I like a good sloppy joe. They're easy to make. You can make them in several. I would do pizza. You could do pizza. And then you could change it from cornbread to pizza dough. I don't know. Just a thought. All right. So that's how we're going to finish off our balls today. I'm going to try one more. I'm going to try this little small guy on the end, because this was the last one we made, I think. Let's see. Could still use more. It's surprising how what do I want to say? It's surprising how unsweet the dough is, even though we used the honey nut. I'm just gonna run that over. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. I'm wearing my cinnamon sugar wafer. That's it for today. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to post how the dehydrated strawberries turn out. I'm going to try one more. Oh, this guy. This guy's good and small. That was it. Maybe we just needed to add more coating to the cinnamon sugar coating to the actual before we baked it. So there you go. I guess that's it. So thank you guys. I want to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate all your support. And with that being said, I want you to have a good day. Go do great things. Be your best self. And please live your best blessed life. Thanks for watching.